Hi, this is Andy McCall and welcome to the ICDL Module 7 Online Essentials Part 2 video. This video will be covering Microsoft Outlook 2016. So before we delve into the Outlook application, it's important to have an understanding of what electronic mail is. Now, I'm sure a lot of you on this call have previously sent an email, know how to send and receive, but you may in your test find that you're asked a question to select which one describes it most clearly. So just remember, electronic mail is an important communication tool that allows you to send multimedia messages to a laptop, mobile phone, tablet, desktop computer with an email account that's been set up. So that can be accessed via the internet on an online service, so through Outlook.com, Gmail, Yahoo Mail too. What online services do though is that they only give you a limited amount of options, so you can send, receive, delete, manage your folders. What Microsoft Outlook, the application that you'll install on your computer through the Office suite, is a professional application that does more than just send and receive emails and delete emails and manage your folders. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into the Outlook application. But before I do demonstrate, just to be aware, before we go into it, the slides that you have here are available to you on Aula and your W drive. So everything that I'm going to be going through is all demonstrated in these slides too. So once I've gone through it, you'll be able to go back and check these slides here too. So to open Outlook, you go to your search box and you type in Outlook just here, left click, and it'll open up on the screen, and that's the icon that will appear for you. You can also go to your start menu, find Outlook through your Office 2016 there too. So we go into Outlook and straight away we're into the application, and you'll notice right at the top once again you've got tabs, you've got your title, account that's on, close, home, send, receive, folder, view. What we're going to do is demonstrating what you need to know in going into your tests, because you will be asked to point out where certain tools are in question. So the first one pretty much is new email, just there. So it asks you in your test, where would I go to create a new email? There it is there, just at the top left hand corner in the home tab, just there. Also keep aware in your test that you have the folder pane just here. So this is all the folders in your email accounts that are set up in Outlook. You'll see ICDL.ms, we've got the inbox, we've got some separate folders that have been created. You should right click and create. So in your test it may ask you to point out where the email folders are. Just at the bottom we've got a couple of icons just down here. The one that's blue just at the moment is email, so this screen shows you all the email accounts and everything that's going on. Just to the right of it we've got the calendar, which I'm going to show you, and also we've got contacts just here. So if I was to click calendar, brings up a calendar, and we also have contacts just there too, so we're going to go through that as well. Just to point out, everyone, you've got the status bar. Now in your test it will also highly likely ask you to identify where the status bar is. Just keep in mind it is here, so where it's connected. If you open up Outlook, it will go to the server and it will just try to download email. So that's the status bar, just where I'm pointing out just here. So it's synchronizing to the folder, your folder that's on the server. In your test you may also be asked to identify which email in the email account has been unread. So you'll see there's two emails here. There's an ICDL.ms one from 2019 that's greyed out, so that's been read, but you'll see this one here is blue. This means that it hasn't been read. So if we were to left click, and you'll see you've got the reading pane just over here, and it will show you the message that is here. So I've used my own account to send to this in this demonstration. Hello, I am ready to provide the recent details of the report regards AM. What we can do is we can create a brand new email. So we click new email. So once we select new email, you'll see that we've got a new window that's open just for our email that we're going to be sending. So in your test, you're highly likely to be asked where you would go to add an individual to your email. So it'd be two. Put myself. CC is carbon copy. In your test they may ask you where to identify where carbon copy is. So you can put an individual into here so that it can be copied into the email. But also you may in your test find BCC being asked, so that stands for blind carbon copy. And what that is you can add individuals to this field, and when they're emailed, they'll only see who it's been sent to. They won't see the other people that is in the email. So I'm going to stick with 2, and we're going to CC in my colleague Stephanie. I'm just going to do a subject, report attached, and this is the body of the email. In your test, you may be asked to show and point out where you would describe the content of the email, and that would be in the subject field just here. So I'm just going to quickly, briefly type in see report attached regards Andy, ECDL.ms. In your test, however, we may be asked to attach a file. So where we go to attach a file to your email is just in messages, attach file just here. I can browse and I can add a file I've created as an example, and that is where our attached file is located, so that'll be sent over. You'll also need to show in your test where you would do spell check. So it's in review, you're spelling the grammar, and you'll see it's identified please not being correct, so we can just change that, and then spelling's complete. Another one that may come into your in your test. Another really important feature with Microsoft Outlook is the high importance, low importance. So when an email is sent over, it will point out if it's a high importance, so the individual can look at it immediately. It flags them, or if it's low importance, so when they see the email, they don't feel that they need to read it straight away. And a pretty obvious one, we want to send an email, the send button there. Before we send it though, let's say for example we just wanted to before we go edit the content, or we may not be satisfied with something that's going on, what we can do is we can press save and close, and then if you go into your folders, it will save it in the drafts area just here. So you'll see it's just there waiting to be edited, and then we can carry on. Please see report attached. Any problems, let me know. And then what we can do is we can send the email straight over, and my colleague Stephanie will be there to see it too, because she's been carbon copied in. So once that email's been sent, we'll see that we've received our reply. Hello ECL, please see file zipped for our forthcoming meeting. So what we've done is we've sent an email over to Andy McCall. Andy McCall's replied back, and what he's done is he's provided a zipped file to download to. This may come up in your test, so you may be asked to show where you would go to download the attached file or the attached zipped file as well. So you'll see here, click, you can double click it, or you can go save as to, or open, and it'll get you to that file. But in your test, you'll be highly expected to just point out where it is, so you'll see it's just there for you too. So if we were to see at the top though, we've got some key options. We've got reply, reply all, or forward. So you can either select one of those and it'll open up new here. So if we were to select, let's go for forward, what that does is it allows us to send the email over to another individual so that they can be part of the conversation and see what is being sent previously. You can discard, or which stops and puts it back to the original state, or you can pop out this message into its own window just here, so you can start to edit too, so much more easier. Some of those features will come up in your test, so it may ask you in your test, where would I click to reply to the email? It may also ask you where you would go to reply to all. So if this email, for example, had about 3 or 4 people who it's been sent to, what you could, and it's been replied back, you can go to reply all, and then it would send an email back to every single other individual. They'd all be in the to field just there. So keep an eye in your test. You may find that props up in a question, highly likely to as well. A really good feature in Microsoft Outlook is giving your email account a signature. Really good. So when you start an email, you'll have a body of text at the bottom with your name, have some details, etc. Really handy. So at the moment, ECDL.ms and mine account hasn't got one. So for this demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you where you would go to do that. So you would go to File, and you would go to Options, just here, and we go to Mail, and we go to Signatures, just there. And this will allow us to create a signature. Keep in mind, everybody, in your test, I'll just go back, where you would go to create a signature. It may be asking your tests: Options, Mail, Signatures. So you'll see we're locked out of the other account, but I'll just show you just an example. So we can create a new signature. So click New. The name for the signature is, I can call it Main Signature. Click OK. And then the body is going to be kind regards Andy. Cool. And I'm just going to put a example number there, www.ecdl.co.uk. And then you can change the text as well if you wish to. So this is just for demonstration purposes. In particular, if you see it in your test, we'll just give it a bluish, that's a bit more stronger. And then when you create a new email, or you're replying or forwarding an email, you can have the main signature set to them there. That may come up in your test too, everybody. So just to be, have an understanding that when you are creating a new email or replies forwards, enable the signature to be activated when you either create a new message or doing a reply or forward. So click OK, click OK, and now this time, when we previously created the new email, it was empty. So I click New Email, and you'll see we have our signature just at the bottom. So you'll see it's not the best one, but it will demonstrate what you need to know about creating. And if you needed to go back in and edit the signature, Options, Mail, Signatures, and then you can edit. So for instance, I'm going to take away the ecdl.co.uk and make it a bit more smaller, so it's a bit more appealing on the eye. So just remember, make up in your test that there. Also, another one while we're here is always check spelling before sending. So I previously did a spell check because one of the words came up incorrect. But what you can do is tick this, so that when an email, just before it is being sent, it will do a spell check and see if there's any errors. It's quite a handy tool. I recommend enabling it so that it will autocorrect and go through anything that it's not finding, and you decide whether the correct word that needs to be put in. Send one, but I'll take it off for demonstration purposes as well. An excellent feature with Microsoft Outlook is your calendar for your email account. I use it myself to manage my diary, to make sure that I've got free spaces to see people, particularly yourself students and my peers that I work alongside. But I also recommend yourselves at a university to take advantage of the calendar so you can manage your own diary. I'm sure that you've got a lot on with your outstanding work and project works and loads of things, but it does give you a bit of a confidence and assurance that you can schedule everything so that you're managing your time quite well. In your test, it will ask you to highly likely ask you to go and say, where would we go to get the calendar? So it's just down here. So you can left click, and here we have our calendar. It's all set by days just here. So I'm going to use, for the demonstration purposes, I'm going to create a meeting to my colleague Stephanie Toman. So I'm going to try and get a catch up, coffee catch up. I'm going to say it is for, let's just say for tomorrow, for example, on the 31st. So you'll see here, I'm going to put 3 o'clock, so 1500 hours. We can either go new meeting, or you may in your test find a right click pop-ups available, and we can click new meeting request. And then what we can do is we can go and type in the individual. So I'm going to send to Stephanie. Subject is coffee catch up, and I'm just going to put obviously ECDL demonstration. So that's a subject, and then location. I don't know. It could be EC coffee shop. Just put in your body as well. Hello, coffee catch up. Guards ECDL.co.uk. MS. So I can send that over, and you'll see it's created that there. So the meeting request has been sent over to Stephanie, and what will happen is Stephanie will have it received through her email inbox, and then she can decide to accept, or she can also propose or decline a time. So just wait and see if Stephanie can come back. And there you can see Stephanie has accepted it. So we've just seen through the our inbox just here, coffee catch up, and it has been accepted. So to go just to the 31st, which is there, and it's been accepted. You may in your test be also asked to cancel a meeting too. So if you've been asked to point out or add other individuals, go straight to the 2 and you'll be able to access it there. And you can also send an update if there's any other content, or if you wanted to change the location, you can send an update and they would also go through the same cycle and accept or decline it too. A handy feature in Microsoft Outlook is the out of office reply. So that is when it will send an automatic email to an individual that's emailed you, but you've set it that you're not available, and in the content you can put when you're going to be back as such, and other additional information for them to have to go away with. But this will highly likely come in your test, so you need to know where you would go to set your out of office reply. And it's also very similar to the signature. So if we go to File, we're in the menu here, but you've got there automatic replies out of office, and it's just there. And then you've got your body of the and you can point out send the automatic replies. So just keep in mind your tests where you would go. It's always File and then out of office automatic replies. If we were to go over some of these emails just here, you'll see on the right hand side what we've got is these little red flags. These prompt you for anything that is outstanding, or you can also click it again to bring yourself a tick. So anything that you, even though you've read it and you want to be made aware of, these flags here, and they're just on the right hand side, and you can right click for your follow up. You can follow it tomorrow, this week, next week as well. So if you do see it in your test, where would you go to point out where it needs to be looked at to be followed up? You've got that as well. You'll see all these have been read. To make a email, even though you've read it, but put it back to its original state as being unread, it would be a right click, mark as unread. May come up in your test, just to point out, as I said earlier, when it's been highlighted blue, it means that the email has been unread, which is really handy. You may also in your test be asked to change the viewpoint of Outlook, so always in view. And what that does is it changes the ribbon and it gives us more options. So you'll see we've got our reading pane is on the right hand side. We may decide we want to put it at the bottom and our emails at the top. I prefer it to the right, so we've got folders, emails, and then the content of the email just the right hand side. But in your test, if it does ask you, it's always the view tab just there. In your test, you also may be asked to point out where you would go to create contacts. So just next to the calendar is the contact option just here. And you'll see contacts, we can create a new contact. Just in the home, you'll see the home ribbon changes when we go into our contacts. It's a different page there. So what we can do is we can go new contact, and then we can type the individual's full name. So I'm just going to use an example, Joe Blogs. We can have a company, and we can also put an email in there as well, joe.blogs@aol.com, and then we can save and close, and you'll see that Joe Blogs is available for us. So what we can do is we can double click in, gives us more information, and close that down. That may come up in your test where you would create a new contact and also where you would go to get the contacts to. With your emails, you may have several that come through at one particular time. You may have previous ones from, say, earlier when the email account was created, and you may have them in your folders too. So if you have something specific that you want to search for, like say for instance it could be a certain topic or content or an individual, what you can do is you can search just here by typing in a specific word, or if you wanted to, not just the folder that's been selected, you could go and do all the mailboxes and all the Outlook items, so it will do a full search. What it will do is it will go through the mail server and it will check anything that's past previous or anything that's in these folders. So it's currently displaying any messages newer than 12 months, but anything that's over it will go and have a search. So in your test, just remember, if it asks you where you would go to search for an email, you click just here. You can also organize your emails. Another that may show up in your test too is by clicking how you want to organize them. So I do them by date, but you can do them by from, or we can do it by newest or oldest. It changes just there, and that may come up in your test too, to point out if you wanted them from date or any of the criteria just there. Managing your emails is very important. So on the right hand side, we've got our ecdl.ms account. We've got our inbox just here. We also have our sent items, and we've got our drafts, which we previously explained. So anything we do send goes in there, anything inbox. What we can do is we can right click in our inbox and we can create a new folder. Highly expected in your test to do that. If it does come up and it's a pop-up, it would be the new folder just there, or in folder tab just here, you can create a new folder too. There may be two ways that it will display it in your test, so just be aware of both ways of creating a new folder. So you can create a new folder, and then we're going to call it test. Oops, not test, sorry. We're going to call it demo example. And then you'll see we've got demo example has been created, and there won't be anything in it. You'll see just there. A straightforward process, but something to be very important going into your test is how to delete an email. So we select the email in question, so we use that as an example, and it's just the delete button just there. But make sure it is the one that's been selected and you delete there. But you can also press your delete key on the keyboard and it will get rid of it also. But just to be aware that in your test you'll probably be expected to select where you would go to delete the selected item. What's really good though about a deleted email, just show for demonstration purposes, if it was a press to delete, it would go into the deleted items folder just there. I'm just going to quickly click it, and if you go into deleted items, you'll see that even with press delete, we've got some that are already in here. What's handy is that we can, before we permanently delete the emails, we can restore them. So in your test you may be asked to restore an email. So let's say the one that we've just done just now, that we just deleted. In the ribbon, you've got move, and we can put it back into our inbox there. Or if it's a right click pop-up menu, move and put it into the inbox there. So we can put it back. Also, to permanently delete everything in the deleted items folder, we can right click and we can go empty folder just there. So you've got that point, and that will prompt you again, are you sure you want to delete everything, permanently deleted, which we do. I'm going to click yes. And now the folder is completely empty, just there. A handy tool in Microsoft Outlook, particularly if we're working in large groups and we're sending frequent emails to everybody involved in a team, for example. So in the university you may have your peers that you're doing your some assignments with. You're good handy, instead of you going into your email and putting every single individual's email in every single time, what you can do is create a contact group, which may come up in your test just to where you would go. And it's in new items. So click new items, more items, contact group just here. And here what you can do is you can create a contact group, so you can name it university peers, and then we can start adding members from our Outlook contacts. So for instance, our Joe blogs that we created, and also from any of our new contacts that we can have the opportunity to do there. And you'd save and close, and then you'll be able, when you're creating your email, to just state to who you're going to go to, and you can automatically do to the group's name there. So, but in your test, all you'll be expected really is to know where you would go to create the contact group just there. So it's really important. Just finally, before we go, I just want to go back to the calendar and just point out some key other key parts. So you may, for yourself, even though we've done a meeting there, you may want to manage yourself and state that something going on the whole day. So what you can do is you can click the top just here on the day. So I'm going to go for tomorrow, and I'm going to double click to bring it up. And what you can do is you can actually point it as an all-day event. So meetings, do not book anything else in, and the location, just put work, and I can click save and close, and you'll see right at the top, this is me prompting for the whole of the day. It's an all-day event, not just set at a specific time, and it's on the 31st. What we can do is we can also delete it. So we left click it, and you can delete automatically straight away, which is really good. Also, the previous appointment, meeting that I did with my colleague Stephanie, I can double click, and I can also cancel the meeting too. So that will send a cancellation email to Stephanie that it has been cancelled. So that's everything on Microsoft Outlook. So we've gone through all the key areas that you need to be really aware and confident going into your test. And thanks very much.